Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf and welcome to Foundation Friday. I feel like we've not done one of these in ages, probably because we haven't. So it's about time I reviewed another foundation, and boy is this an expensive one. Super expensive. So I'm going to do a full-blown wear test on this and see what all the fuss is about, and at the end of the day we will find out whether this is actually worth the amount of money that you have to shell out to get your hands on this foundation, because it is a lot. This is from Clé de Peau and it is the Radiant Fluid Foundation Matte. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say, and this is a really important bit, I am by no way, shape or form saying that this is going to be a foundation for absolutely everybody's budget. Nobody should go into debt for makeup. It's just makeup. So if this is out of your price range, if you look at this and think that is absolutely ridiculous, this is not for you. Now, I've said this on my channel before. I stole it from Jen Loves, who has a beautiful analogy of the beauty industry and the product prices, where she likens them to ice cream. There's the shop-bought frozen ice cream that you bring home from the shop, you dispense it with a spoon, and you eat it in a dish, or straight from the carton, as I often do. That's great. It's ice cream. It tastes absolutely wonderful. You then have the ice cream van that comes in a fancy double cone. You also get a flake in it, maybe some whipped cream on the top and a bit of sauce. Absolutely fantastic. Makes you feel really nice because it's a little bit of a treat. And then you get the ice cream parlor that costs an absolute fortune but makes you feel wonderful. It comes with all the bells and whistles, that really pretty fancy glass bowl that you get it in. You get 5 different flavors of ice cream. You get all the whipped cream, all the sauces that you can imagine, with a cherry on top. But it comes with a price. At the end of the day, it's all ice cream. It doesn't matter which category that you fit in. I myself like to save up for that fancy ice cream every once in a while. It really makes me feel special. It makes me feel luxurious. But most of the time I fit in the first 2 categories. There are some people that will only ever have the Knickerbocker Glory. There are also some people that will only ever have shop bought. That is absolutely fine. No shaming on this channel, but you know, this is expensive. It's expensive ice cream. So this is the Clé de Peau Beauté Radiant Fluid Foundation Matte. It's £110 in the UK and you get 35ml, which is slightly more than standard. You also need very little of this, so it's going to last you longer than a regular foundation. This comes in 31 shades, gives light to full coverage, and gives you a matte finish. So let's have a look at the packaging. It's super stunning. The navy plastic lid does hold fingerprints though, so I feel like I'm constantly wiping it, which is a bit of a shame because it doesn't look as fancy when I've had my mitts on it. Anyway, this does have an SPF of 20, which is mineral based, so if you are sensitive to chemical sunscreens, this one you shouldn't be. However, this does contain very small quantities of alcohol and it does have a fragrance, which is so pretty. It's a beautiful floral fragrance. I don't feel like it sticks around for a long period of time though. So the consistency of this is really quite fluid and it shears out when it's warm. So you have to apply this to the hand first, warm it through, and then apply it to 5 areas on the face and then blend it out. I did get a brush with this foundation. It doesn't come with this foundation, you have to buy it separately, but I thought I would try it in this review and it's beautiful. So this goes on like a primer. You know those primers when you've put it on the back of your hand in a shop and you can see the difference immediately? Everything is blurred out, everything is more perfect, and you cannot wait to go and buy it. This is that in a foundation form. So this is incredibly lightweight. This smooths over the pores. It smooths over my texture. I mean, it's instantaneous. I've only applied 1 pump of this. I've got medium coverage, which means that this is probably going to last me around about 6 months, this foundation, if I use it every single day. But my skin looks perfect and I only have medium coverage. That to me is on another level, because usually my skin only looks completely flawless with a high coverage foundation. And yet here I am with medium coverage and I seem to have no pores left on my face. So I didn't go under my eyes with this. Maybe I should have done. So I will try that, and I will put a pinned comment at the top of the comment section just to let you know how I got on with that. But on this instance, I didn't apply the foundation underneath my eyes. So that's the finished look for today. This has not oxidized. This is bronzer. As you can see, we are matching. It was really nice weather outside. It was really lovely and sunny, and I just felt the mood. It just took me, and I couldn't put the bronzing powder down. Can you tell? Anyway, I really didn't want to like this because this is super expensive. I thought this would be a regular foundation in really fancy packaging. And I thought once we got past the packaging, the product was going to be mediocre. I was wrong. It's really, really not. So let's have a look at this up close and personal. So this is matte enough that it airbrushes my pores, and I will zoom you in on my pores. They are non-existent. They just have been completely airbrushed with this foundation. This has also disguised my texture, which I was not expecting at all. This is also, though, even though it's matte, is luminous enough to still not look flat. So this still looks semi-natural on my skin, even though I've got a medium coverage. It is matte though, so do not be fooled by the radiant on the label. This is definitely a matte foundation, but I really like it, so I'm probably going to be swayed to buy the more radiant version because, I mean, this speaks for itself. That's all I'm going to say. Well, it's probably not all I'm going to say, but on that subject, that's all I'm going to say. So this has not sat in any of my pores, as you've just seen, very up close. This also hasn't sat in any dryness, apart from the tiny weeny little bit of dryness on the end of my nose, which you will have had to get a magnifying glass out to actually notice at this stage. Usually foundation sits here and also here where I have really bad rough dry patches. That has not happened today. This hasn't tried to move into my smile lines, in any of the fine lines around my eyes. It hasn't budged. It also looks super smooth between my brows, which is my problem area. I have a lot of texture there. That's where my oils come through, and yeah, it looks fine. It looks absolutely fine. Anyway, I am going to do a wear test on this foundation. Like I've said, this has already been on for several hours, and I'm talking 5. No, I'm talking 5 hours. So we only have a few more to go before I do the check-in. And maybe my opinion will have changed by then. Who knows? I'll see you all in a bit. Welcome back to the check-in. It's now been over 10 hours since I first applied this foundation to my skin. I'm not going to waffle on. Let's have a look at this in natural lighting. I believe in natural lighting, this looks shinier than it actually does in a mirror. So I just want to point that out now. This does not look shiny in real life. It looks way more illuminated on camera in natural lighting than it actually does in real life. This is transfer resistant and has remained demi-matte throughout the day. I powdered this in place right at the very beginning when I first did my makeup. I haven't touched it since. So it didn't say that this was transfer resistant on the website, and yet it is touch proof. It definitely is touch proof. I'm kicking myself for going overboard with the bronzer because I really would have liked to shown you this on its own. So I will wear this in videos in the future to show you what this looks like without caking myself full of bronzer, because I feel like I may have ruined it slightly for everybody today, and I can only apologize for that. So the final thing, my thoughts stand from earlier on. This hasn't moved, it hasn't sunk into any fine lines, any dryness. There is a slight spot on my chin where you can see more dryness now than you could earlier on. That would have been the same with any foundation. Again, there is a slight bit of dryness on the tip of my nose. Nowhere else though, not my usual areas. This hasn't sunk into any of that dryness. It hasn't sank into any pores, it hasn't settled into any fine lines. The ones on my forehead, it's not moved at all. So is this worth it? Is the price tag justified? That is on a case-by-case basis. Would I save up to buy the more radiant foundation? Yes, I would. But that's me personally. I think everybody has to look at this on an individual basis. Is it worth it to you? It's a lovely, lovely foundation. Is it earth-shattering? No. This is not going to change the world. It's a foundation, but it's a really beautiful one. And that kills me. So once again, this is not going to be for everybody. They are not going to corner the market with this foundation at £110 because it's way out of the price range of the average person. My mum would never buy a foundation at £110. However, I may buy it her as a gift because I think she'd really, really like it. Watch this space. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful in some way and hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.